I'm with SID, and I'd like to tell you about how staff in Luxembourg is misrepresented. This is part one. In these elections, the Union Syndicale Luxembourg won 25.5% of the popular vote. Okay? Guess what? According to our rules, they got for that 70% of the seats in the staff committee. Now, for about 8 years, SID has been writing about the various pathological anomalies in the Luxembourg election rules, which are carefully designed to give that union that has just a few votes more than the others a huge margin of extra seats. You can find links to that in the accompanying written material to all our criticisms. It's really not such an unusual situation, however. It's just in our case it's very drastic. As you know, perhaps, Hillary Clinton got about 2 million popular votes more than Donald Trump. Well, too bad. She didn't make it anyway. And Maggie Thatcher never had more than 44% of the popular vote. And in her second and third election, she only had 42% of the popular vote, but still, she was prime minister with a comfortable parliamentary majority, and boy, she sure used it against unions and workers. Okay, but apart just from being illogical and anti-rational and, being sort of offensive almost in that way, there is also a practical problem with this. 70% of the staff aren't really being represented by this committee. And so because of that, most of the colleagues are just going to turn their back on the staff committee and go back to their jobs or go to the canteen, have a cup of coffee or whatever, read a newspaper, so on, but they're just not going to be engaged with the staff representation. And Human Resources knows that, the Commission knows that, they know perfectly well that this committee does not really speak for staff. And so, they're not really going to listen to it, are they? And I mean, really, if you know the facts of the internal workings a little bit of the staff committee, I have to say, it's not the 14 representatives of the Union Syndicale who are running the show. It's basically two old union bosses. Though one of them is a so-called 80-14. He makes somewhere between 13 and 15,000 euros a month. The other one is a man who's worked for 30 years only as a union official and a staff representative. He's never done any actual work on his job. Now I ask you, how in the world could such a committee represent the average colleague here at the Commission? The answer is, it doesn't, and it can't, even if these men have the best will in the world. They're just too privileged to be representatives of staff. Thank you for listening.